So our first storyteller, I ask, in one sentence, what does Black history mean to you?
The Secret Society of Twisted Storytellers has been partnering with the city of Southfield Parks and Rec for about 4 or 5 years. What are the range of the stories?
Every year the themes are different. This year's Trust and Betrayal. You know, Black history is a lot of things. It's a lot of things. So when you come, you're going to come and you're going to hear something about maybe a topic you hadn't even thought about or may not have correlated with Black history.
And the storytellers are telling true personal stories.
Yes, they tell their own personal stories. They're funny, sometimes they're sad, but they are from the heart and they touch your heart. And sometimes you can hear the story and it might make you think about something that happened in your family, in your past, or even in your present. The stories are always amazing.
And my mother realized from that day that I was possibly going to get killed or kill someone. And she made a decision only a mother would make. She made me a ward of the state. And I remember asking her, "Why, Mama?" And she replied simply, "To save you from yourself, my son."
What does it mean for you to have a platform to tell your story at the Secret Society of Twisted Storytellers?
I've been doing this over 20 something years, right? I don't come out of a traditional place. Actually, I recognize myself as an unorthodox person, right? Been self-taught. And so the opportunity through that process of a platform such as Twisted Story, what I know is how you and your platform honor particular Black folks and Black stories.
They sat me down, they said, "Son, the only time in life you experience friction is if you're moving. If you ain't going nowhere, folk don't mess with you." So I went back and I gave them, peace of my mind, told them F you, and got kicked out of school. My mom said, "What happened?" I said, "I gave them some friction."
Well, I tell a story every week. So, effective forms of communication is a powerful thing. I mean, you think about Frederick Douglass, for example, in Cleveland in the 1800s, with 1,500 folks in a hall, being able to command the attention of all 1,500 of those people. And I think we've always lauded and honored people who have great oratorical gifts. The question is, and that's what I ask myself even when I preach on Sunday, as a consequence of what I'm saying, what do I want them to do?
Yes.
What's the
touch
takeaway?
and inspire action.
Right, what's the behavior, what's the action?
Yeah.
And if I don't know that, then I'm just getting up, taking them on a trail that leads to nowhere.
People are going to just be bowled over by your story, especially honoring mother, honoring father.
But my thesis is around the relationship between me and my mother. So my assertion is to understand my oppression, I must understand my mother's oppression. Looking at the world through my mother's lens. And I think one of my propositions is for Black people to understand our overall oppression is to understand the oppression of Black women and how that has impacted us. When we talk about CRT, right, and the race dynamic, it matters, but then there's something else that I've been introduced to, which is what's called triple oppression: race, gender, and class. And sometimes CRT doesn't necessarily, it engages that, right? And it comes out of our own lived experience. Mm-hmm. So when I look at the lived experience of my mother, I see the beauty, I see the hope, I see the determination, despite the oppressions of anchor that's trying to hold her down. And I mean, if we think about all our families, right? Unfortunately, we come out of poverty, but as if poverty is our fault. Poverty is the fault of a society, the power dynamic, but then our mothers make the best of it. That food that ain't got too much in the refrigerator, right? But she go out there and whip something together.
Mayonnaise sandwiches.
That, but it's that love.
Yeah.
It's that hope. Mm-hmm. And she may go to bed, didn't eat. My being is a result of those sacrifices. Our being is a result of those sacrifices. So why I can't honor my mother? Why I can't honor our women? Because again, and I think that's the missing piece in the CRT.
So that was love number 2. And again, imperfect love, was met with imperfection.
I want to really talk about how we locate who we are within ourselves as opposed to all the social adjustments that are made on a regular basis. Jim Crow, slavery. There's going to always be something, not just based on race, but even based on gender, based on zip code, that wants to relegate us to some subordinate position. How do we juxtapose our own disposition?
When you put the individual stories in a narrative, it makes sense. Like, oh, there's connected. And that's the what allows for the audience to relate and see themselves to not maybe want to tell their own story, but also just feel empowered within the framework. And I think this was powerful about the dynamic of telling this through Black History Month.
And when people come to the event, and it's February 17th at 7 p.m., kind of walk us through what they'll experience when they first come in.
They can come to the pre-glow, which starts at 6:30. And then there's vendors there, Black-owned businesses. We have a bar set up. They can have a drink, relax, talk. There's a DJ playing a jam. So, you know, it's really nice ambiance. There are dance performers. You have their drummers there. Vocalists. So, yeah, along with the storyteller. So you're getting a really, really good show. I mean, this is really just a coming together of the arts.